What's going on, everyone? Nuclear Ninjas here, and today we're checking out a strong team that I believe might put me on the global leaderboard. My rating as I'm recording this is 3140, and the current bottom of the leaderboard is 3125, so it's going to be close. The team I ran was a very strong ABB team with Drapion on the lead with Poison Sting, Crunch, and Sludge Bomb, Sableye on the safe swap with Shadow Claw, Foul Play, and Return, and Trevenant as a closer with Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and Seed Bomb. The team is a slight variant on the team I used to hit Legend. I was just running Jellison at the time instead of Trevenant. So when Trevenant came out, I thought this would be a strong team to try it with. With all that said, let's get into the battles. So picking my first match against, I'm just going to pronounce that Howie, we run into a Dragalge lead. Now, Dragalge, Drapion actually can stay in that lead and do reasonably well. It either wins or gets shield advantage, but because this is an ABB team, we obviously have to switch out to Sableye. Doesn't even build up past the Aqua Tail, so I'm just going to let that go. And the Drapion comes out, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw the return. This is either going to force a shield or deal a ton of damage. Okay, we get the ton of damage option. And nice counting by my opponent. They don't quite let me get to that foul play, but they build up a ton of extra energy. Now, what I'm thinking here is his Drapion's really low. I'm just going to come in, tank all the charge moves, and hard Poison Sting down, so I have loaded energy to deal with the Dragalge when that comes back in. So my opponent's going to get to one more Crunch right now. I sneak in a Poison Sting there. That doesn't really matter. It just means he gets one less Poison Sting worth of damage on me, which probably won't do anything in the long run of the battle. And I've got two Crunches loaded to deal with this Dragalge. So first Crunch is going to come through. I'm not expecting this one to get the shield because it has a debuff chance, so people normally don't shield the first one. And I'm actually going to get to two Crunches here, which means I can either force both shields or take the Dragalge down. Oh, they let the Dragalge go down? Alright, I'm just going to throw a Crunch and then dip. And this Crunch actually gets the shield, so now it's Trevenant versus Nidoqueen with shield advantage. I am going to build up to the Shadow Ball and bait here. I'm just shielding whatever. There's no way my opponent's getting to three charge moves. Build up to the Shadow Ball, bait with Seed Bomb. I'm not sure exactly how much Seed Bomb does to Shadow Nidoqueen because I'm still fairly new to this team, but I think honestly if the Seed Bomb itself might have done enough that it would just take him out with the ensuing Shadow Claw damage, but since I got the shield with the first Seed Bomb, I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball just to be safe, and that is going to be a good game. Alright, Nidoqueen goes down, and pretty comfortable win there. That one was basically, I mean, maybe if the opponent had shielded the return, it would have gotten dicey, but anyway, moving on to the next battle. Jumping into my next battle against Nike Chris 26, and we get Skuntank on the lead. Now, this is not a lead that my backline really wants to see all that much, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this out with Drapion. Skuntank is potentially a major threat as it can potentially maybe beat my whole team if it goes for the flamethrower. But he throws after, I believe that was only 8 poison jabs right there, which would actually be enough for a flamethrower. But in any case, I managed to call the Crunch, and then this time I'm going to go for the Sludge Bomb to try and get just a little bit more damage. And alright, get the shield. And at this point, I just let this go because I do, despite how dangerous Skuntank is as a dark type, I do actually resist the poison jabs, which means Sableye can do decently well here as long as I shield the Crunch. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, those Shadow Claws are dealing a decent amount of damage. I might be able to farm down and come out with loaded energy, and Sableye with loaded energy is a problem for most teams. So we throw the return on this Azu. We actually get the shield. I'm going to build up a little bit more energy on the Sableye and then swap to Trevenant. And Frostlass without shields is actually not a very good answer to Trevenant whatsoever. So Trevenant's able to just obliterate that Frostlass with the Shadow Ball. The Azumarill comes back in, and at this point I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to shield this because I know I can get to some Seed Bombs here. 2, 3, 4. I'm throwing to potentially deny him just a little bit more energy. And I don't think I'm quite going to get to the next Seed Bomb here, but he has to throw right away to stop me from getting to the Seed Bomb, so Sableye is going to be able to easily just build up to a return here and take out the Azumarill. Honestly, if that range foul play might have done it, but again, why take a chance? So that one was pretty straightforward, just team comp battle. I don't think there's really all that much my opponent could have done. Obviously, Frostlass isn't coming into an energy-loaded Sableye, and Azumarill would have done terrible against Trevenant, and they won Switch, so basically just team comp there. Maybe if they'd swapped a little bit faster against the Trevenant and gotten their Frostlass in, they could have gotten to Avalanche before I got to Shadow Ball, I think would have been the way they'd have a chance. Picking up my next battle against Pokehunter 1329. And we have Drapion into Azu. Now here, I'm just going to wait for my opponent to switch out, and they actually go out to Scizor, which neither of my backline particularly wants to see. So we get a shield, and then my opponent throws it right away, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to let this go through and then probably make a move to Sableye, because these Shadow Claws are going to start really chunking. My opponent tries to force CMP there, but I'm like, I know you're trying to force CMP. I'm not falling for it. So they're at 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to throw here because I really don't want them to get to another move. And that foul play is going to actually get a shield. And I'm like, okay, I'll just... My opponent thought they could farm down. They could not, so they just wasted a ton of energy. And now I've got 2 shields. They've got 0. This is a good situation. And it's a Wormadam in the back. Yeah, this is basically over, because that means we've got Trevenant on Azumarill, and Wormadam here. I mean, with shields, Azumarill does nothing to Trevenant because the bubbles are resisted, and Ice Beams I can just shield. And Drapion also resists those confusions, and my opponent actually pulls a very nice predictive swap. They figured I was going to swap there, so good play, but it's not going to save them just because of team comp. If they had gone Azumarill into Drapion, I'm pretty sure I still would have won, honestly, but it would have been quite a bit closer. So anyway, we're just going to toss some unshielded Seed Bombs out here. I'm over-farming a bit, so I'll have energy to deal with that Wormadam in the back. That potentially could hit me for some serious damage, but I'm not even within range that one move would KO. And it's so low, I'm just going to throw the double resisted Seed Bomb to take it out. So, oh, it survives the Seed Bomb with like 1 HP, but like I said, I have a shield. Even if I didn't, I could have still won that because I could have tanked a move, and even if I couldn't tank a move, I could have gone into Drapion and just hit him with 1 Poison Sting to take him out. Jumping into my 4th battle here, we've got Sinanajo, I think that's it, and Shadow Sharpedo. That is scary because those waterfalls deal a ton of damage. You'll notice I just go for the crunch right away there because I did lag a turn at the beginning of the battle, so that's only 1 additional free turn of energy. And now I'm just going to stay in here and, yeah, I no-shield this. If it's a Poison Fang, I think I actually will live, although I can't survive the next waterfall. And then I come in with Trevenant, who resists the waterfalls, and Sharpedo is so glassy. Those waterfalls are still dealing some damage, but my resisted Shadow Claws are also adding up. We shield the Poison Fang, and the opponent actually makes a swap into Wormadam. This is fine with me. I've got Sableye, who resists the confusions, so we're actually looking pretty comfortable right now, although the Sharpedo obviously is still super dangerous. So Bug Buzz comes through. I am going to have to take him out before he gets to another charge move if I don't want to use my shield. And Foul Play comes through. The biggest thing that concerns me is the fact my opponent aggressively swapped like that implies they might have another Trevenant answer in the back. I realize that the Wormadam is getting to another move right there, so I have to throw this Foul Play. Sharpedo comes out. I'm going to throw this Foul Play. I'm not sure. They might just be bringing this in to soak the energy, but we'll see what Trevenant can do against whatever's in the back. It's an Azumarill. That is very interesting. If I were them, I definitely would have opted to let me take the Sharpedo out and keep Switch, because Azumarill is terrible against Trevenant. And we're just going to be able to throw some Seed Bombs here. I think, honestly, I probably could have gone for... oh, right, he had a shield left. If my opponent had shields down, I think Shadow Ball actually does hit harder than Seed Bomb, even when Seed Bomb is super effective. So something to keep in mind, but I'm just going to go straight Seed Bomb because letting my opponent shield his Shadow Ball could give them a win con for no reason, and this Seed Bomb is going to take them out. I don't even need to hit it, they're 1 HP. So GG, we are at 4-0 right now. Let's see what happens in the 5th battle. So for my 5th and final battle of the set, I'm going up against Mr. McAlvin. And we get Drapion into Quillfish. Now, this is actually not a terrible matchup for Drapion, but because it's an ABB team, I do have to swap out, and we bait on Umbreon, which is exactly what I was trying to bait out there, because it would be terrible to have Umbreon on Trevenant. Now, right away, one thing that is concerning me about this could be a Poison Double Dark team. Quillfish is Poison type, Umbreon's a Dark type, and if it's Poison Double Dark, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do here. It's pretty much just a hard loss. So we're going to not shield anything with Sableye here. We are going to need shields later in the battle. And I'm trying to maybe force CMP there. I get to the return, and the return actually forces a shield, but no CMP, which means I'm going to get farmed down. That is unfortunate. Now, okay, so it's double poison and double dark. They have an Alolan XL Grimer in the back. So they're ABA poison, but ABB double dark, which is sort of an interesting team comp, but I mean, clearly if they're at this rating range, it's been working for him unless he just started running it this set. And I can't really swap out of here, so I'm thinking I'm just going to have to put Trevenant on Quillfish, which isn't a terrible matchup. But then there's also the fact the Umbreon is still alive and had loaded energy, so I don't think there's anything I can do here. This one's over. I'm just kind of playing it out to see how much damage I can manage to do before I die. So another crunch comes through. We take the Grimer out. The Quillfish comes out. I'm trying to catch an Aqua Tail there. My opponent won't even let me catch the Aqua Tail. If I had caught the Aqua Tail, it wouldn't have mattered. This would still be a hard loss. Foul Play comes through on Trevenant. We get to the Seed Bomb. This is not going to do enough to beat the Umbreon. Seed Bomb's just not a hard-hitting move. And another attack comes through, and I'm like, okay, so maybe if I can completely farm down this Umbreon, I'll only lose by a little bit, but also I can't completely farm down the Umbreon. And I decide there's no point dragging this out. I'm just not going to use my shield and let it go. So, good game to my opponent. That was definitely a hard loss on team comp. I don't think there's anything I really could have done to play around that one. And the Neat Arena comes out. Claim our rewards going up to 3128. So overall, I'm very happy with this team. I will note, if you're wondering about the discrepancy, I did have a 3-2 after this, so I am actually at 3140, not 3128 anymore. I'll put a screenshot up there to prove it. I already have that screenshot on Twitter. Anyway, obviously, I'm not the first person to notice this, but Trevenant is an absolute monster, and I would say you could probably use this team to hit Legend if you're struggling. In terms of switches you could do to make this team work if you don't have something, Sableye, obviously as an XL, is super expensive, so I would run Driftblim or Jellicent as a potential replacement. Both those teams would still probably be pretty good, and the main issue with those swaps, and the reason I like Sableye more, is just the Galvantula matchup, because Galvantula, despite me not running into them in this set, are pretty common in the Halloween Cup meta. Anyway, I think that about covers it, so like the video if you like the video, dislike if you dislike, subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future, and I'll see you all next time.